next year, 2020, especially if Trump gets reelected. And, it sounds like these banks are kind of doing the same things that got them into, the mess that they got into in the first place. They're still giving people loans that they shouldn't be giving loans to, or loans that they can't afford, but you kind of should plan for a rainy day. And it's like, times are good, better now. Unemployment's the lowest it's been in this country since the Bill Clinton era, like 20 years ago, back in 2000, 2001. But it's like, people aren't planning for a rainy day. If another recession hits, we're going to get into the same mess that we got into all over again. People need to learn, and they don't seem like they're learning. That's what I'm doing. I'm planning, times are good right now, but I'm living below my means. I am making do with less because you don't really know and that's the problem. A lot of people, including myself, back when times are good, back in the 90s, people were, living high in the hill. People, including myself, weren't really planning for a rainy day. Nobody saw it. A lot of people didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. And then when it hit, it's like, oh man, I was kind of spending, I was making good money and making a good buck, but also spending a good buck. And I wish I would have lived more within my means. I wish I had planned for a rainy day, made do with less. And I didn't. And, I kind of suffered from the recession myself. And, Obamacare, it's like, I have so many issues with it, but it's like there are certain people that, like I have one friend, she has two kids that both have medical problems, and Obamacare, for whatever reason, doesn't cover, the meds, the care that her kids have. And, she was doing just fine, and she's got a lot of credit card debt now. She's like, I'm not going to deny my kids care, but because of, she said before Obamacare, things were great, but she said Obamacare pretty much ruined her. And she's a single mom. She said that she had no credit card debt before Obamacare. Now she's got all this credit card debt because of Obamacare not covering, the medical care, the prescription costs that, her kids have to have. She says she's not going to deny her kids medical care, and unfortunately, like nobody, because of pre-existing conditions, a lot of these other insurance companies, they refuse to take her. And, companies, it used to be that they were offering their employees medical care, but now a lot of these companies, we don't have to give, they still have to pay a fine. They have this thing now, pay or play, which means if you don't provide your employees with health coverage, you have to pay a fine, too, when you file your taxes. But a lot of companies are doing that, but it's cheaper for them to pay that fine than to provide health insurance for their employees. And it's just like, oh yeah, we don't, you can get Obamacare now, so we're not going to provide, it used to be more affordable for people to have insurance through their companies, but now it's like they're having to spend more money on Obamacare. The premiums are so high. Everything's so high with it. But it's like, oh yeah, now, you can get Obamacare, so yeah, screw you. We don't have to provide health care for you anymore. It's like, wow, that's great. And, small business is the backbone of America, and it's mainly these, private ownerships, these sole proprietorships, small business owners that are doing this sort of thing. So, that's basically things I want to go over. That's our kind of how healthcare is in our country, how the government's run. It's really a scam. I really see them as being a bunch of crooks. And, I think, as far as I know, I think they all get free health care. And it's like they don't really know what they're all, multimillionaires. You have to have so much money just to campaign, to run for office. So it's like they don't really know. They're not, middle class. They don't have the middle class back. Some of them are born with a lot of family that runs in government in the U.S. too. as we saw with, the Bushes, the Clintons. So it's like a lot of them were born with spoons and their money in their mouth. They don't know what, poor people go through. They don't know what the average middle class American goes through. So it's like they can't really, they pretend like they are really out for you, but they're really not. It seems like they're greedy. They're kind of out for themselves. They pretend like they care about you, but they really don't. Them in corporate America, it's all about them. They're just worried about their bottom line. It's like if the upper 1% of Americans, if they just gave up a little bit more, and they're really greedy with money too, they don't want to pay, they want, more tax cut. That's what Republicans usually do. They cut taxes, that's basically what ruined the North and ruined the economy, President Bush. And now what Trump's doing too is Bush cut taxes for the wealthiest people in this country, because he said they create the most jobs. They're the backbone of America. They create the most jobs. We should give them tax cuts so they could hire more people, but they don't do that. They don't hire more people. They spend more money on themselves. They buy yachts. They buy bigger houses, more expensive cars. They go on more vacations. And that's what causes that separation. That's what widens that gap between the rich people and the middle class and the very poor people, and Democrats, what they usually do is they usually give that's what Obama did. He gave, tax breaks to the poor, the middle class, and he increased taxes on the rich. That's, basically the story of how politics works in America. And like I said just a moment ago, if the richest people in this country, they never feel like they have enough money, and I don't think they ever will. It's like, when are they ever going to feel like they have enough money? And like I said, if the richest people in this country just gave up an extra, 1% of their income, our national debt would be eliminated. It would be wiped out. We might have a budget surplus, which we haven't had since Bill Clinton was in office. And yeah, the Bush basically wiped out the budget surplus and put us into national debt with his tax cuts. And, John McCain, who recently passed away about a year ago, he was running in 2008. He wanted to continue on. He said the same thing, too, that he thought that, the rich people, corporations should get more tax cuts because they create the most jobs. We could hire more people. But again, they don't do that. They don't hire more people. They just go out of their way to make more of a fortune for themselves, buying bigger houses, bigger yachts, Just they don't care about the middle class. They spend more money on themselves. So, I think I covered anything I wanted to cover. Just, you have any more questions, just let me know. That's, far as my understanding, that's how things work in America, and I don't like it. We definitely have a long way to go. Yeah, I'll never be president. I don't want to be president, but I always say if I were president, things would be different. Things would not be running the way that they're going to run. But unfortunately, a lot of presidents, they want to do certain things, but they get, it all boils down to they can, like Obama wanted to do a lot of things, but Congress, which was made up of majority Republicans at the time, they voted out a lot of the things that he wanted to do. Fortunately, a president in this country, they don't have a lot of power to do the things that they want to do. They can make a lot of proposals, but it has to go through Congress first. They can say yes or no, and you could have good intentions, want to do all this crap, and then Congress could say, "Oh, fuck you, we're not doing that," and you're screwed. You could want to do some of the best things in the world, but it always boils down to Congress, which is almost in a way I don't even realize. It's like, okay, well, if the president doesn't really have this much power, if Congress has all this power, it's like, why do we even bother having a president? But I guess we just have to have somebody to blame or somebody to credit when things are good or things go bad. We need somebody to blame, even though there's, all these members of Congress hiding behind the curtains. But yeah, I've seen that ever since I was alive. All these presidents do say they're going to do things when they're running, and they don't do them. And I used to place all my blame on the president, but what I learned as the years went on, and it's not always the president's fault. A lot of times the fault falls on Congress, but a lot of these members of Congress, they're hiding behind the door, hiding behind the curtains, and a lot of people don't understand that. When The president's basically the face of the economy, the government in this country. So it's like that's the one person that people can associate. So it's like, oh, that's the guy. That's the one that we should blame when things go bad. So yeah, that's our economy in a nutshell. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Ask me questions if you have more questions about our government, our economy, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Another interesting topic. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye.